Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
Alright, what's going on YouTube? Today's video is about Drew Sanders, first round prospect linebacker. A guy that I don't necessarily have a strong opinion about either way. I feel like Drew Sanders can be a good player. I think he has to be used the right way. He's a guy that used to be a defensive end at Alabama. Transferred away from Alabama. He's playing off-ball linebacker. And this right here is a screenshot that I took. So he's 42 right here, and it's just something I kind of noticed. A lot of the criticism that I'll give Drew Sanders is that he's not comfortable playing off-ball linebacker yet. And just a good example is you see all the off-ball players, or every football player, just in general, every football player you see on the field, knees are bent, knees are bent, knees are bent, knees are bent. This linebacker, his knees are bent, his butt is dropped. Same thing with this DB right here. Everybody is in sort of an athletic 2-point stance. Everybody. Now, 42, Drew Sanders, his back is bent over, but you see a little knee bend right here, but you want to see more knee bend, as if he was kind of doing a squat or something. So that's just something small I noticed. I mean, it may not affect him at the end of the day, but it just kind of shows his newness at the position. I think he's got a lot to learn at off-ball linebacker, and I think he can be a lot more explosive out of his stance if he has a much more a better stance and conducive to explosiveness. All right, so this next play, Drew Sanders is your linebacker right here. He is your off-ball linebacker, kind of like lined up, not as a slot linebacker. A ton of people try to call this a slot corner position, but it's definitely not. He's just your backer that's just off the ball right here, not lined up over the line, in between that tight end and the line of scrimmage. So just watch as he's going to try to track this play down from the backside. And this isn't a play that you expect most linebackers to make, but it's just something I noted to just say. I've seen some people say he's a freak athlete, or he's a guy that maybe he might run fast. But is he playing fast? And right here you see a better stance on this play, which is kind of funny. This game might be later in the season than the other game that I saw. But just watch as he reverses field and he tries to run down Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a fast player. I'm pretty sure this is Jahmyr Gibbs on this play. Tries to run down the running back and kind of takes a bad angle, and he's not able to overcome it. So if he's a guy that is a freak athlete, that's a speed linebacker guy, he doesn't have to take this angle to turn this upfield. He kind of gets outran, which is, like I said, you don't get mad at a linebacker for this happening. He's on the backside. It happens. But if he's an athletic freak, if he's a guy that's really that impactful from that position, he's a guy that's going to run this down. He's going to run this down because right now he's further up the field than the running back, or right around the same spot. And you got to think that this guy is at least able to be able to dive at his shoestrings or something, but just out of frame. Now this next play, Drew Sanders is but this time he's at the top of your screen as far as linebackers go. He's this guy right here, 42. And this is something I kind of noticed. He looked good dropping back into coverage here. A couple of times I didn't like him in coverage, but I do think he has some potential to be a solid coverage linebacker. Is he ever going to be a man coverage linebacker? I highly doubt it. I mean, he's a converted defensive end. He's not Michael Parsons. He's not that kind of guy that's going to be a man guy, but shows some decent discipline in zone. And at linebacker, really all you have to do is just have that awareness, know route concepts, be disciplined, and not be out of position. And right here, looks pretty good. Right over top of this first crosser, seeing the second one, easy stuff to follow. And I'm just going to rewind this and just pay no attention to any other player on the field. Just watch how he changes direction. And this is something that I think coaches in the NFL will want to work with. Just watch how he changes direction. Boom, 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 drops right back. That's a drill right there. That's a drill right there. 3 directions, And he did it pretty seamlessly. And I've seen him not do this seamlessly, and I'm thinking, is this an athletic issue? But as I watch more and more of him, it looks like an issue as he just got to get more reps at linebacker, at off-ball linebacker. So just watch it one more time. Boom, change the direction. Boom, change direction. Watch him backpedal bail. Look pretty good right there. So could be a guy that you could use as a zone coverage linebacker. Now, of course, he can see these routes ahead of him, which is why he's been so decisive. But moving forward, he could be a guy that could be used in some more, advanced sort of coverage routes. All right, so this next play, Drew Sanders is getting pointed at with the yellow arrow. He's kind of in a zone situation, and he sees Bryce Young take off with the football, and he does a great job picking a great angle and accelerates to run down Bryce Young. Let's watch it. Not much to kind of narrate. He just drops back, sees the quarterback take off right, and he's just in pursuit. And watch how Bryce Young tries to say, okay, this linebacker's coming. I'm going to kick it into the next gear. And it doesn't do much. He gets run down. Has to throw the ball away. Barely got it off. But it just shows, like I said, he's not a freak athlete, but he's not a slow linebacker by any means. Not a slow guy. So let's watch it from this angle. Drew Sanders is being covered up by this camera, but let's just watch it from this angle. Bryce Young's going to take off. Seeing it from his angle, he's like, I can just kick it in the next gear, and he just can't. Now, one thing I've noticed about Drew Sanders is he is really good at not getting blocked. He's very good at slipping through blockers, slipping past guys. Really good at that. So let's watch him right here. He's your guy behind this defensive tackle that's standing up on the line in front of 55 of Alabama. And just watch him. He just rarely gets blocked. He's kind of slippery. He's able to move around pretty nicely in tight spaces and stay unblocked in a lot of these running situations and a lot of the times where he's sent it on, getting sent on a blitz. Let's watch. 70 is going to go get him. 55 is there in his gap. It looks like at this point that Drew Sanders is going to get blocked by one of them. He's going to have to beat someone's block, but he's able to stick his foot in the ground, cut back with the running back, not get blocked by 55, and he's there to make this tackle. Now, he doesn't make the tackle by himself, but it just shows he shouldn't be blocked right here. 55 goes to go get him, just can't stay with him. Too quick in the short area. All right, so this next play, Drew Sanders is, you can see him, he's number 42. And this is just more examples. I got example after example of him just getting off of blocks, just doing a really great job. Just watch right here. It's not much to talk about. Just jumps over, jumps through the gap right there and goes to get the running back. And this is something that you see running backs doing. Reading the offensive line, not reading the defensive line. He's reading the offensive line, and he just jumps right through this gap. And he goes and gets this tackle. Misses it definitely, but a good play to get into the backfield. You got to make that tackle though. So this next play, you got 42 again. You see him 42, where you see number 1, the running back. Drew Sanders is 42. He's a linebacker that will be lined up across from this running back. So he's here, and on this play, the offensive line and this tight end are going to be pretty much duos. Everybody's getting double teamed on the defensive line, and it's up to these linebackers to make these blocks, to make these to make these tackles, to get past this line and be able to tackle this running back. And Drew Sanders has no issues doing it. Well, he actually does, but the reason he has an issue is because he gets held. So everybody's double teamed right here. This is exactly what they want. The running back, pick a gap. Pick where you want to go. And, you'll probably be able to get something done. But Drew Sanders right here is unblocked. He's able to accelerate through this gap. And as he starts to, he gets held. So I'll rewind this a little bit so you all can see. But 65 just holds him. Doesn't get called, but he gets held right there. So one benefit that Drew Sanders has, being a former defensive lineman, is long arms. Definitely has long arms, and he's able to use them in some of these plays where he's able to make tackles for a loss or make tackles for a yard or whatever you want to call it. I think it's 52 that you're going to see try to block Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders is lined up right to the left of this referee, the linebacker in front of the referee, and to the left. Everybody's left, not the referee's left, but our left. He's going to try to block him, and he's going to get a long arm, and Drew Sanders is going to easily get past this lineman and make a tackle. So let's watch. 52 goes to block him, kind of gets stiff arm. Let's rewind it so you all can see. That arm right there is out. He's not able to get his hands on Drew Sanders, and there you go. Drew Sanders one-on-one with this running back, and he wins it. So this is another great rep from 42, Drew Sanders, and you're just going to watch him kind of sift through this traffic and make a really great tackle. So let's just watch him. Almost like he's the running back, shadowing the running back, pretty much step for step, following him, cutting back around the offensive lineman. Let's watch this as he cuts around this tackle. Boom, boom, cuts back, stops him right there. This is how you get, a goal line stand. This is how you stop guys. They ended up scoring on this drive, no fault of Drew Sanders, but just shows how he can be really effective in these short areas. And when I say short areas, I mean he's got to get past the guard. He doesn't want to get blocked on a guard. He doesn't want to get hemmed up by an offensive lineman. He's able to keep these guys' hands off of him by mostly just kind of hopping around them, sometimes using a long arm like I showed you. And let's just watch this one more time. Almost like a running back, cuts back, meets him right there, and he doesn't go backwards. So don't take this as my overall opinion of Drew Sanders being a bad opinion. This is just the play that I ended up ending it up on. So Drew Sanders is your middle linebacker, your complete middle linebacker. He's lined up right here. And let's watch him in zone coverage. He's got the middle of the field, and this is just something that he's going to get better at as a guy who, again, converted from defensive end to off-ball linebacker. Not even that off-ball outside linebacker, but a lot of middle linebackers. So he's seeing the field from a completely different position. So let's just watch him drop back into coverage. He's just got to get depth. You just got to get more depth here. That's pretty much it. If he gets more depth here, this route is, there's nowhere for this quarterback to go with the ball. Because Drew Sanders is a tall guy. He's a big guy, tall guy. And if he gets more depth on this route, there's nowhere for the quarterback to throw the ball. So he doesn't get depth here. Wide receiver gets right behind him. The other linebacker just passes him off. And there's that huge pocket between the safeties and the linebackers. And this is how this play gets completed. Simple stuff that he may be able to correct. If he's able to just drop back a little bit further, the quarterback throws it here, it's an interception. And honestly, if he was like an athletic freak, he's able to probably jump up and catch this as an interception. All right, so I'll wrap this up. Drew Sanders is again an intriguing prospect. He's a converted defensive end to linebacker. So a lot of the issues that you see on tape is just from the lack of experience. Just he doesn't have the instincts or the muscle memory of playing off-ball linebacker, and I don't know if he'll ever get that. Who knows? But he obviously is a guy that's really good at not being blocked. He's a guy with a high motor. He's a guy that is athletic. Not a freak athlete, but he's a guy that definitely is an athletic linebacker. You can use him as a spy. You can move him around. He's a former defensive end. You can blitz the guy. Also a good blitzer. I couldn't find as much 2022 tape of him, as he's an off-ball linebacker and being used as a blitzer. I haven't found much of that. I could do another video of him at defensive end, but he's a guy that you can use as a blitzer. I've seen it in games. I just haven't seen it on the All-22. If you use him that way and you're smart the way you use him, if he's a guy that does end up on the Giants, then, I welcome him with open arms. I welcome him with open arms. Do I think that he's the best linebacker in the draft? Still, so far, my number one linebacker is Deion Henley. That film session will come out sooner or later. But Drew Sanders is definitely, so far, he's definitely my number two. And I haven't gotten to watch Jack Campbell yet. I haven't gotten to watch some of the other guys. But right now, he's my number two. and he will be above Trenton Simpson. So you guys let me know what you think of Drew Sanders. Do you want him on your team? And how will your defensive coordinator use him? If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.